Here I want to show you. I went and took some more macro photos of some mushrooms the other day, actually on Christmas morning, and this video is just of me going through and how I edit maybe one or two of those images, and what's different in these images than the last set that I did. If you happen to watch those, is there's a different technique in this one. Some of these images, like this one here on the screen, is backlit, and so you want to edit that a little bit different, and just some different little techniques, different mushrooms, different things to correct in each new set of images. So it'll be fun. Shouldn't take very long, and let's open up Lightroom and show you real quick the image I want to edit. And this one here is what I wanted to start with. So let me just make double sure that before I send it over to Photoshop that I've got chromatic aberrations checked, which in this case could be a problem because I backlit these, and even with an L lens, anything that you're backlighting or shooting into the light, you can get some chromatic aberrations, but there's none here. Even if I don't check that, there's none here that are really visible. So but I still want to make sure that's checked. And then my profile, I want to make sure it's reading my lens, and then from there I'll just take and bring that over into Photoshop, and we'll start to edit. It doesn't take very long. I just really like this image because it's typically you see the mushroom and might be sitting there or whatever, but or you might get a picture of the underside of the gills, but by backlighting it, let me just show you real quick, you really get a chance to see all the activity happening inside this mushroom, or on the bottom of the mushroom, not inside it, but on the bottom of the mushroom. Look at all this activity, bugs and debris and little spores, and just it's a whole bunch of activity going on in there. That backlighting this, which it just occurred to me while I was on location, I'm like, you know what, man, let's just backlight this. I bet it'd just be really super cool, and it turned out to be. Took me a couple shots to get it. Took me 3 shots to get it, but I really like the way it turned out. So at any rate, let's go ahead and start editing. And like always, the first things that I really look at are what takes my eye away from this scene. And I tell you what does right now is a few of these spots. I'll just push Control J and I'll come over here and I'll correct a few of these real visible spots. This might be water and moisture. It was really wet where I was at. Trees were dropping down water on top of me, which is, it's all part of the excitement, I guess, the thrill of it, right? It's going to take care of some of these real visible ones, and I can also, when I go back into Lightroom, I can click on my spots and take those away. Okay, so I went ahead and got that first part done. Really quickly, what I'm doing here is I'm going back into Lightroom. I'm going to get an exposure that I did of the same mushrooms without the backlighting, and I took it at f16. I'm going to bring that back into Photoshop, and with a layer mask I'm going to bring back some of the sharpness of the f16 exposure to the stems of the f6.3 exposure that's backlit. That'll help create some sharpness and a little more depth of field in the stems. Let's go to my brush tool. I don't want that one. I want a soft round brush. Okay. And we're at 50%. Let's get up here to 100%, and then let me change my flow. My flow is at 20. Let's my foreground color, let's set it to black, and let's see what, if I can brush a little of the bottom layer in here, and get back some of the sharpness of the F16 with this F63 layer. Not in everywhere, just in a in a few little spots, and see how it looks. Okay, right in there. Okay, some of that debris too. I like that debris that's there. Now this is, well, this is blurry, but I can bring that back a little bit. Let's see what's in here. Okay. I do like that. Right now I like it. 5 minutes from now I'll be cursing it and I'll be like, I don't like it. Let's just come down in here and get some of this. Okay. I'll go shift 5% and come up in here just a little bit. There we go. Up in here just a little bit. And blend this in here just a little bit up. There we go. Okay. Let me zoom back out of that. And I think that might be a little bit intense. So let's double click on this, and I believe we can just lower the, see, that is cool. That brings back, see, this to me is way too much, but we can come down in it with it a little bit, something like right in there. I really think gives me and I'll toggle the layer mask on and off. I like that. Let's toggle that. I forget the shortcut for that. But that's without it. And let's go in here and let's look at the image as a whole. That's without it. And that's with it, and I think I like that. I think maybe I'm gonna tackle this green, because I don't mind this bluish, but this green really, I'm not really a fan of it. So let's just do a hue saturation adjustment layer, and we'll go to the greens. I'm gonna sample that because it might not be what I think it is. Sometimes it's not. Hey, where'd my hue saturation? Get back here. There we go. Okay. Go back to the greens. And I know I sampled it, but let me sample it again because I don't know why it disappeared. And let's drag this rascal down and close that out. And let's take the greens down just a notch to 45. And let's look at the whole image and see. We could even take, let me sample this blue. There we go. Just bring some of that back there. I'm good with that. Okay. Let's toggle off and on and just take a look. See, yeah. And let me make 3 copies of this. Go down here, image, filter, blur. We're going to do Gaussian Blur. 40 is fine. I'm going to just sharpen some of this with using apply image. I'll go over here to apply image, select, subtract, layer 3 copy. Whoops. Hey, layer 3 copy. Okay. Light. Let's do a hard light. And I think we're going to get a much stronger effect out of that. Look at over here. This is just totally sharpened right up. Let's go into 100. I mean, can you see all these little bugs and little things that make their home inside this That's crazy, man. Okay, cool. So enough of me rambling. What I'll do now is I'll create a layer mask. Let me drag this layer out and let me create a layer mask, and with my brush tool, I'll do 50. Okay, let's start working. Perhaps you don't want to sharpen stuff that wasn't originally sharpened, so I'm just scanning the image real quick. Okay. What I've done is just scanning the image, and I'm going through and I'm using my layer mask to brush back in the sharpness of certain areas of the image. Not the entire image, just some real local spots of the debris and the stems, things and places to draw your eye in the image. So that way we're not just wildly sharpening everything with this technique, but it really does bring out a lot of great details, sharp and crisp. And what I'll do now is I'm going to do a different sharpening technique that will bring a little sharpening to some of the outer lying areas, like right in here. I really like these. So let's just do filter, smart sharpen. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll just look over here in the area that I want to be sharp. Wow, look at this, man. This is nuts. And that's at 100%. And you can see if, you know, increase the amount, it's going to be, you know, crazy cuckoo. You can do the radius, which is, this is just like from like a high pass. It just, you know, a radius, and in that way when you increase the amount, it's just edge detection, you know, darkening the edges of the, and adding contrast to it. So, but 414 is way, yeah, I don't want that. I usually stay around 225, and this is just for the ribbing, the gills in here. It's not going to be, it might not be for the rest of the image. So and that's cool. And let's just scroll around and see if it, I mean, I'm going to layer mask this anyway. Look at all this in here. Okay, so let's click OK. Okay, let's zoom in. I'm going to use this for this. Let's just look at this this gill area here around the edge of the cap. That's without it, and that's with it. Okay, so there is quite a big difference in there. Let's layer mask that, brush tool, and foreground set to white. Okay, up here it would be blurry, so I'm not going to try to sharpen that. But as we get down in here, I will. Okay. None of that. See what happens if you start to sharpen stuff that's not sharp with that method. You're just gonna introduce a lot of weird looking stuff. See, you can selectively do this. That little bug, you can even see a little bug's eye, and his little antenna. How cuckoo, man. It's crazy. It's awesome. Awesome stuff, man. It's just so revealing. And that's, to me, what photography is about. It's about revealing what's around you, seeing what's around you every day, but in a different way, you know, just being amazed and appreciative of it, you know. Okay, I think I'm good with this. And I'll just put my brush tool, or let me flatten this. Flatten image. And then what I'll do is I'll just add my brush tool, D, X, and 100%, and I will put my Shift 50. Okay, I'm cool with that. And then actually, let me just take it down a little bit more. It's kind of big. Let's just take it down a little bit. There we go. Hide that over there somewhere. Okay, I like that. And so, and I'll just send this in here. It's a lot hotter than I'd like, and there's actually a lot more detail in there that I want to get back. And so I'm going to do that real quick. I just drug the other image on top as a new layer, and created a layer mask, and I'm going to select my brush tool and select what are you doing? Select a soft round brush, is fine. Flow at 100. Whoops, wrong tool. Brush. There we go. Okay, and zoom in a little bit on this, and let's see what we brush back in here. There we go. Get some of that detail back in there. So what I did is I drug another file back over from Lightroom on top of the image that we're editing in Photoshop, and I just layer masked and brushed back in detail from that other exposure so that it would show through the one we're editing, give it a little bit more detail, and it looks a lot better now. So yeah, we're cool with that, man. I like that. Okie dokie. So we'll save this. And it'll send it back over to Lightroom, and we're good on that one. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate your patience and tuning in. Please like and subscribe, and I'll try to work on getting the videos laid out a little bit better for you guys. I'm new to the Adobe Premiere, so we'll keep updating and working on that and get it right. Appreciate it. Thank you.